What's an oh shit moment where you realized you've been doing something the wrong way for years? Please subscribe, like and leave a comment. Much love to you all. I had a used car and didn't realize until a couple years later that it had remote start. Person buying my now more used car. This has remote start? Me. No. Person pushes button, starts car. Me. Well, price just went up. When I was 5, a Pizza Hut employee told me that the powder on the breadsticks was called fairy dust. Ordered extra fairy dust on my breadsticks until I was around 14 when an employee said back quote, "Do you mean garlic salt?" It still devastates me to realize how obtuse I was. I worked at Pizza Hut from 16 to 21. We called it fairy dust. I had to Google this. I'm legit shocked again by this damn powder. So it appears the first employee in my story wasn't fucking with me, and the second employee wasn't a knowledgeable member of the team. We bought a nice liquor cabinet. We got it delivered and noticed it was a bit shorter than we thought. No biggie. 3 years later, we are moving. Lift up cabinet and these beautiful ornate, screw on legs, wrapped in tape and bubble wrap fall off the bottom. Looks so much better now. Reminds me of when my mum bought a new sofa. About 6 months later she's hoovering under the cushions when the base fabric pulls back to reveal some sort of metal and a mattress. Turns out we had a sofa bed. Made my friend sleep on the floor with a sofa bed right there. This one is extra funny. If one of your friends recognized the sofa bed from one of their relatives' houses and was just lying next to it all night going, why would he do this? I thought we were friends. It wasn't very long, but when I was learning to drive my dad was explaining the rule of thumb regarding a safe distance, to be behind the car in front of you. I thought it meant to hold your thumb up, and if your thumb didn't cover the entire car you were too close to it. When he caught me doing that he asked me what I was doing. When I explained he burst out laughing, then considered it and concluded it wasn't a bad idea, but perhaps a bit distracting. Also every other driver thinks you're a super friendly guy or a bit passive aggressive. Until last week, when my father-in-law would made a phone call on his very basic non-touch screen flip phone, he would open the menu, scroll to the phone icon, open it, hit the soft key for contacts, scroll to the person he wanted to call, press OK, then press the soft key to call. When he mentioned how he preferred his landline because he could just dial the number, I said, humor me. Just dial the number and hit the talk button. I've never seen a man so simultaneously grateful and embarrassed. Couple years ago I was trying to open some toothpaste and had to break the seal of the tube. I used to look for something like a nail to break it. Then one day I looked at the pointy end of the cap and thought, what if I could use this to break it? And oh shit, it did fit and broke it effortless. And so did every other tube product I had in the house and their respective cap. My mind was blown. I was cooking with my boyfriend a month or so ago, and I was confused when he mentioned he hated opening tubes of tomato puree because I just find it satisfying. I then proceeded to stare at him in disbelief when he started trying to peel the tiny foil seal off the end of the tube. I just slowly reached out, picked the screw top cap off the counter, and showed him the pointy bit. Since the dawn of time, I would pick up the silverware and utensils out of their tray in the dishwasher and put them away in their drawers, then go back and pick up more out of the dishwasher. Then one day I saw my wife lift the tray out of the dishwasher and I legit stood there with my mouth open. God damn it. I knew that thing moved because I've removed it and changed it around to make pans or big dishes fit better, and I've still been going back and forth for the silverware. I always thought eggplant tasted itchy, like itchy was a flavor, like sour or salty. Fed some to my baby and his face turned red wherever the eggplant touched, and I realized we are both just allergic to eggplant. And itchy isn't a flavor. I lol that itchy isn't a flavor. My mom has been pronouncing Massachusetts for years and no one corrected her because they thought she just had strong feelings about Massachusetts. My mother cannot pronounce that or Mitsubishi. She tries but same outcome and Mitsubishi comes out Mitsubishi. No one really ever told me you don't need to buy shoes with the back quote 2 finger space in front of the toes after your feet stop growing. I had been buying an entire size too big until about age 23. One day in college I decided to try a pair of Merrell barefoot type shoes, and after reading the sizing guide, bam. Mind blown. It's terribly obvious mistake I, 29F, like to blame on being an only child. But really I'm just a fucking moron. I had this problem until about 25. Never really thought about it. I was always a size 10. That's what mom bought me in high school. Why would it be any different now? Only thing is, I stopped growing at 14. Never had another growth spurt. As guys, we were always told you'll keep growing till late teens, early 20s for some. Yeah, that didn't happen for me. Luckily I was buying a pair of nice boots and the clerk was like, dude, there's no way you're a size 10. You're barely a size 9. I was so happy once the blisters I'd always dealt with went away. My mom used to refer to me as a bull in a china shop. Always heard it as bull in a china shop, thinking it was a compliment. At about 22 I hear someone else use the phrase and realized she meant bull, not bowl. AWW mom talking about how dainty and priceless I'm again. Well, this was a few years ago. I was the director of it for a very large company. I was given a new cell phone and told to set up my voicemail. I don't know that when I recorded my name it would be played to whomever I leave a voicemail for. Well, the name I recorded was Dada84 Corporate It God. I worked there for 4 years until someone in the hallway referred to me as the Corporate It Go D. I was so embarrassed. Wear it confidently. This type of shit makes people like you more. They don't feel the need to be fake around you. I grew up without a mom. She passed when I was 6. I was afraid to ask my dad how to put a tampon in. One day I made a comment about age 18 to some friends that tampons hang out too far out your bajingo and made me feel like I waddled when I walk. My friend asked me how I put them in. I thought it would get stuck up there and wasn't inserting it far enough. Did it wrong for about 5 years. My friends still make fun of me for it. I can't help but use the dead mom card, but looking back it's pretty common sense how to shove it up there. Edit. For all those asking, I didn't really feel comfortable with my body, so I'm not sure I really understood what the directions were asking. For others asking, my dad was a really good dad. Obviously he made some general mistakes as a parent, as all parents do, but as a substitute mother he did a great job. He taught me how to shave my legs, funny voices and all, and he was a Girl Scout troop leader for almost 10 years. He tried to figure out how to French braid, and he did comb my nasty ass ratty hair on a daily basis. I owned a car with swivel headlights, and it was very nice to have that. Discovered 3 years in that I had never turned on the swivel feature. Oh man, I thought the ACK button in my car, Snowflake, was defrost, so I never used it in summer. Fuck, did I feel dumb 2 years. My uncle has a 2005 Lexus that has swivel lights. When the car turns off, they face down. The swivel motor broke in both headlights a few years ago and no longer turn up to face straight. He lives a few hours from me and I don't visit that often. So when I finally went to visit him, I pointed out the problem. He had been using his high beams full time at night for years because he thought the low beams just weren't good enough. My name is Ryan. It took me until I was in 1st grade to realize my name wasn't in the alphabet. My mom had told me my name was in the alphabet, and I felt so lucky. She obviously meant the letters to spell my name were in the alphabet. But nope. It took that long to realize the alphabet didn't go W, X, Ryan Z. Don't feel bad. My birthday is in July. I was under the impression, until I was 7, that the 4th of July, the fireworks, specifically, were for my birthday. I felt really dumb, but also really sad when I realized they weren't. I lived in a house for 6 years with a bathroom with no shelf or cupboard to put toiletries into. I was very disappointed and ended up using a windowsill that was way too small to fit everything. Anyway, one day we had a friend over and he asked why we don't have anything in our bathroom cupboard. I was confused, so he showed me. It turns out that the mirror I had been using for 6 years has a hidden compartment behind it. It was a mirror door to a mounted cupboard on the wall. I was astonished and immediately moved all my stuff from the window into the new space. My friend was baffled that I had never figured out there was a space behind the mirror. There was an obvious gap between it and the wall that I somehow failed to notice. I used to fill the kettle by the spout. My parents have always done it this way. I thought the center part was mainly for decoration, but not functional. I don't know why I never questioned this. One day I bought a new tea kettle and my husband was like, WTF, what is inside this? And with great ease, opened the center to pull out a manual with instructions and whatnot. I was drinking dirty paper water for like 2 weeks. Okay, but why did your parents do this in the first place? Ugh, I don't know. Maybe I should tell them. When I first got a debit card and would go out to eat at restaurants with my friends, I would leave a cash tip on the table. When I got the receipt to put how much I was paying, I would write down how much money I left on the table. For at least 6 months I gave double tips to every waitress I had. When I was a kid, I was told that the paper that came on cupcakes/muffins was edible. I would spend a decade eating them like this, paper and all, until a friend pointed it out. I mean, you ate them for a decade. I think you proved they are edible. My family always had a cup next to the bathroom sink in case you needed to rinse your mouth after brushing your teeth, or maybe get a quick drink of water in the middle of the night. My grandma had the same cup at her house. I used it for years, whenever I was thirsty. One day she saw me doing this and said, "Don't use that cup. That's where grandma puts her teeth."
Thanks for watching. Subscribe for more.